Well, trying to source your energy, there's been a whole lot of like where you're trying to let go of deceit, and there even felt like there's a little bit of manipulation that was let go as well. Not coming from you specifically, but towards you and to you.
Definitely.
You have like a feminine energy that has passed over. That would be more maternal side, mother side. Does that feel like it resonates?
Yes, definitely.
Getting a lot from her that's saying stay true to your heart. Really love your heart the most because your heart is what needs to guide you. We can stay on the track of relationship, but the burnout feels pretty prominent on not just that. It feels like there's a lot that you're just trying to figure out, like a source of next, what's coming next. How do I get to the next? Does that resonate?
Yeah, it does. And the other part is I'm an RN, so I've been dealing with COVID for the past 2.5 years.
Wow. Another thing that stood out to me is that it's November, and then so I'm getting 1123 over and over again. 1123 is something that is very important. So does November already have something in a relationship for you? No, okay.
No, no.
But this feminine, would this be a grandmother?
Two from my ex-husband, so it's his mom, who is very close to, and his grandmother.
Okay, I'm trying to figure out who this would be because the maternal, her maternal instinct and her maternal link to you for your mom is just that's confident. I don't have even where it's swaying towards paternal. Oh, go ahead.
That would also make sense too. I was close with my mom's mom too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. With her, she very much is trying to say that you've always had the "I give you the shirt off of my back" mentality, and she goes, it's hard to see it now because you've had to become such like this harder outer shell. But she says that she's very proud of you, extremely proud of you. Did she by chance miss any form of graduation or anything for your nursing?
Oh,
Or was she there?
yeah.
She missed it.
No, she would miss that.
She says, "No, I didn't."
She would miss
She goes, "No, I didn't." But she goes that I have somebody in the works for you, and the 1123 does pop up. She says that, so obviously we would want to know where we're going to meet this individual, right? She's so certain it's a grocery store, but it's small. It's like, it feels like it's some type of like farmer's market, but this guy actually works there at that location. And it feels like you guys actually run into each other again. She says, no matter what though, November 2023 is going to be okay. Now, the 2023, she doesn't give me the 2000, she just gives 1123 over and over. So that's very prominent. So I'll leave those numbers with you, 1123.
Okay. I guess one of my questions is so I guess for the past year and a half, I've been helping my extended family friends that I've known since we were kids with their parents. The one had recently passed away a couple months ago. I guess one thing that I sort of worry about is the one child, Mark.
All right. And Mark, would this gentleman be in, hold on, let me channel a little bit. Is he like in his either late 20s, early 30s?
He's 48.
Okay, so then he would be way well past that. So he's 48. Mom's physical. Or does he have any mental illness going on?
Depression.
Oh, okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Because dad's worried about his mental state. And the individual that just passed,
It was his dad, yeah.
the dad passed very recently, correct?
2 months ago.
Oh yeah, so he's really badly in his grief. Because in every sense in his mind, he says you are his daughter. He's been there for you. He's watched you grow. He goes, I always thought you and Mark would end up together, but you know. Is that something that would resonate to you?
Yep. Funny.
I'm sorry, what's that?
Yep. I said that's funny that he would say that.
When is Mark's birthday? Does it fall on
January 3rd.
Oh wow. I could be wrong about the two. 1 and 3. That's totally different. November would be 11. I'm trying to see how, and then plus the 2. I'm trying to see if the numerology adds up to where that's where they were pointing us in the direction of that. Yeah.
So I was doing a lot of personal care for his dad, and then the time that I couldn't be there, of course, because I was working, I'm like, one of you guys have to learn this, and it wasn't my friend Julie, it was Mark, and so I had to teach him how to do that stuff, and he did it.
Like
Like
the
not
dad
easy,
said, the
right?
dad said that his son got to see the most vulnerable side of him. So I don't know if what is the dad's name?
Tiosh.
Piosh. Okay, no wonder I couldn't get it. I would never get that before.
No,
All right,
no,
so
no.
I'm gonna stick to calling him dad though. Is that okay?
That's fine.
So, with him, he keeps on giving me that, there was vulnerability. So I don't know if he became incontinent or else if he suffered with something like that. But he goes that, although I'm so great, like that explains why he's grateful to you, to be honest with you. He goes, although I'm so grateful to her, I actually really do appreciate the value in which my son stood up because I didn't want her to see me like that. Not because of the fact that I see her as different. That's why I laid down the foundation of saying that is my daughter in every sense. But it's because of the fact I didn't want her to see me weak. And I was like, sir, you're not weak. But he's showing he fought, right? He shows not only did he fight and why there's no, because whenever I'm trying to channel how he passed, there's no real cause as to why he got so weak that he actually passed with COVID.
He progressed. We don't actually even know with what was going on with him.
Mhm.
Physically, he just kept on getting weaker, and so by the time he ended up in a facility, which was November,
There's that November.
Mark and I, yeah, right. So Mark and I went and got him a scooter so he could be independent in the facility. But just progressively, like each month, just got way weaker, right? And he was at the point. Actually, it was interesting because so 3 days before he died, he had said to me, he said, I want end of life. And so I kind of had this big conversation with him. And I said, did you talk to Mark about this? And he goes, well, sort of. And I said, well, you need to have this conversation with Mark and the doctor to get this started. And then he got COVID and then he died.
Oh.
So I mean, it was a blessing for him, but it just was very fast.
That makes sense, like lethargy and weak muscle tissues. And he keeps on giving me now that he's spirit, he sees that there's something wrong with the blood flow through his veins. And then you said in November, that sparked something for me. So do you know what day in November by chance whenever he went in?
I think he went in November. I think they went in November 3rd or 4th.
There's that 3 again.
Yeah.
Okay, then I hate to point this out because I know Mark's going through a lot and you've probably known Mark your whole life. But
Yeah.
you and Mark have a really strong soul connection there. And soulmates can be multiple things. They can end up just resulting as a best friend. They can end up being the best lover, and that's how they go in. But that soul connection just shows so prominently all over you and Mark. Like it's evidential. Because the whole 3 keeps on popping up for your guys' energy, and that November was important, no matter what. And so, and also your maternal grandmother was the one that gave me the November and the 23. So I'm trying to figure out what this 23 is, but I think it's just to add in that 2 to that 1 if my mind serves me right. But I still have that November 2023 written down just in case.
So want to hear something funny?
Yeah.
So where my grandmother was born and raised in Japan is the same place where Mark's parents were.
Oh, yeah, that shows soul contract all over the place because people would stay in your energy as long as they didn't have a karmic break before they passed in their past life. But without a doubt, with Dad, I was going to try and attempt to and say his name, but it wasn't going to work. But with Dad,
That's okay.
he does. Oh, wow. I found where the 2 goes. His father just passed away
Where's
2
that?
months ago.
Yep.
There's your 2. So we have our 11, which is our November. We have the 2, which is the father that passed. And we have the 3 because you said it's about maybe the 3rd and the 4th. But I feel like that 3
Yeah.
may also go into something else. And also, whenever I was trying to get his age, I was getting 20 and 30s too in the beginning for Mark, but he's actually 48.
Yeah.
Okay.
He looks that young, but
Did
he's 48.
did you guys have an opportunity to date whenever you guys were in your 20s and 30s? No?
No.
Okay. I'm just asking with my see if there was any opportunity between you guys in 20s and 30s.
So although I grew up with them, so like they lived on a farm that was about a half an hour away from me.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I would see them now and again. The interesting thing was so I saw them, you know, I hung out with him and his sister when we were in our teens, and then reconnected again probably like late 20s.
Oh, there's the 20s. The reconnection
Yeah.
of the reconnection.
Yeah. And you want to know something else about a 3 now I think of it?
Yeah.
I hadn't actually I'd seen him now and again, but I hadn't actually reconnected on this level until March of last year.
There's another 3. So that's why the 20s shows up so much is the reconnection in 20s. So you guys, no matter what, are meant to be in each other's lives. I can't say for certain how you guys' relationship will progress because of the fact you guys have free will. So you can always decide that you want to keep it friends to keep it going, or he can decide that he doesn't want a relationship. But you guys, if you guys attempted it, you guys would have a really phenomenal, no matter what, friendship or relationship. You guys have a strong soul connection for sure. Does he also do something that's very nurturing in nature for like a job or anything?
He's a farmer.
Okay, that's
So,
nurturing.
but
He would be, does he
okay.
provide any like food or anything to local, oh my gosh, farmer's market. You naturally
Oh
leave
wow.
him at his place of work. It's not going to be, does he ever sell his produce in a little farmer's market or a little shop?
Uh, technically no. So he's the farmer.
Mhm.
His sister actually is the company that sells it around the province, but they do sell it out of their little store now in Bizano.
So they do have a little shop that they own. So he technically isn't working in the shop, but he technically works for the shop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's gonna, wow.
Oh, that's funny.
So that's how it pulls full circle. So this is all about Mark. Wow, that's really cool. I'm gonna write that down about the farmer and I didn't put it together until you said that. Farmer equals Mark. So what's next for Mark is that farm is everything to them. That's something that isn't going to go away. Because what I was going to say originally is what's next for Mark is he needs change, but that wouldn't be anything that the dad would ever want. The dad would not want that farm to leave the family, not even a little bit. And the dad goes, no, don't tell her that because she'll know that you're bogus if you say something like that. So I think what really just has to happen is I think he needs to at least have probably just a vacation, to be honest with you. Even if it's not going somewhere fancy, I think it's just the fact he needs that time to grieve. He needs that time to take a deep breath. If he has family that can come in, and dad's giving a nope. But if he has family that can just kind of take his spot for a little bit, because, and you know what? That makes sense. Because in the beginning, I was feeling like I was going to go down the path of telling you maybe you needed to take a break and get away or whatever, because you said nurse, but it didn't feel like it connected. So I wasn't going to just pop out with it. But I think this really goes directly towards Mark in order to help him. Because it feels like for what's next for him is he just needs that time to grieve, time to think, time to move, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like his dad. His dad is so comical. He's got that morbid sense of humor, though.
Yeah.
He definitely put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into that place for his children and his children's children, etc.
Yeah, so there's 3 boys and then Julie.
Dad says he showed up. He really showed up. Like he
Yep.
changed his whole life for his father and took on a whole lot.
Yep. Mark, who ironically is the youngest child, so this is totally out of Japanese tradition, he's the one that's shown up for his parents. So even though he was the only kid, or he was the kid that went to university, he got a big degree and everything else, but he came back to do the farm for his dad because there wasn't anybody else.
Wow. Really good job, Mark. And you know
Yep.
what? If you do show him anything out of this reading, I hope you do show him this, because Dad absolutely wants to emphasize exactly how much pride he does have for his son. He goes, I probably lacked showing it to him a lot, and that's one of my biggest regrets, but I love he does say he loves every single one of them. He wishes they weren't all having some thought processes that don't go along with I feel like he's trying to say with the morals he instilled in them. But he is saying that with Mark specifically, like there's no words that me physically can say that's going to express the pride that this dad does have for his son, and the gratitude and the gratefulness. And he goes, if I could say anything, I want to say thank you, but what words tell the amount of thanks to what he did for me? He literally took something that was my everything, made it his whole world now, and now he's struggling trying to figure it all out himself. And he goes, I wish I could give him guidance on trying to figure it out, but he's got good people in his life. And he goes, right there. I'm glad he brought him up, because that father, the dad, does feel like he's been here since the beginning. I thought it was going to be your family member. I didn't think it was going to be for someone else.
If you're thinking about female and Cancer before, I would say that was probably my ex's mother.
Yes.
Because we were close, and she kind of keeps showing me signs that she's still around, because I keep going, yeah, but I'm divorcing your son. This can't be right. And she's like, she keeps
that makes
seemingly
sense.
showing me that it's okay.
She's giving me like a really heartthrob right now. She's trying to give like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then she starts talking about, so was he unfaithful with you?
Initially, yes.
Okay.
And then
she always talked you through it, correct?
Yep.
She goes, there's no talking you through this one. She goes, you're doing a good job. She goes, I will forever be with you. There's no changing that. And like she says, I don't care if you're divorcing my son. You're still somebody that I loved. You're somebody that literally always had my better good. And you talked to me more than my kids did. You showed me time of day. And she goes, you don't even have to ask her if this resonates, because she knows. She's sassy too.
She is, really.
I'm going to write her down because she's so talking. What is her name?
Tina.
Tina?
Tina. Yeah. Well, Christina, but she goes by Tina.
Oh, okay. Tina, this is, I'm going to put her mother-in-law. She doesn't want to say ex-mother-in-law. She says, I'm her mother-in-law.
No. Yep, she is.
She goes, that's my girl. And I have to write down that I have to write down the part where she said that she showed me more time of day than my own children, because she feels like you really like hung out with her, or she keeps on giving me like where you'd invite her to lunches or something. Does that resonate?
Yeah, we would do lunches, and so even when she needed to go to chemo, it was me that took her, and I would make sure that we had our special little lunches
That's
together.
what she's trying to talk about, is the fact where, like, okay, that makes sense. And that's probably why the Cancer was so prominent, like you pointed out. Thank you for helping me find that resonate.
No, that's okay.
And lunches, yes, that
took me a while to figure it out.
I mean, it took me a while to figure out the November, but that all makes sense now. No, that's phenomenal. That's really, and with her, she goes, I will always be here to give you signs.